Hello, Team Catalpa. And Thomas and Silke, it's great to sit down with you today to learn more about your focus and your approach. And yeah, let's dive right into it. If you can start by telling me who you are, what you're doing, and why you decided to set up Catalpa Ventures.
Yeah, thanks for having this interview with us. We are a health tech venture capital firm, which is based in Luxembourg. And now you might wonder how I, as a medical person, as a professor at the Charité, come to it to build up a venture capital firm. And the background is that I have a long-standing expertise as a business angel, and we're searching for a team, for my dream team, with whom I together could build up a venture capital firm to dive into health tech, particularly in digital solutions. And I was very lucky to jump into the Gogen team, who has a background as a family office and a long-standing background in the finance industry. And maybe to give you one more word on what we are focusing on and what we will be doing, we will leverage my medical expertise, which is very broad, and we will combine this now with the venture capital background which the other team members have. They also have some health tech expertise. And we deeply believe that when you look back in history, social and financial pressures are always a very important motor for set up novel innovations. And therefore, we are completely convinced that digitalization of healthcare is now providing a perfect market opportunity for investment in early stages.
Also, to add a couple of words to myself. Yeah, as Silke explained, so I'm more the fund guy. So I started 25 years ago here in Luxembourg, where also our head office is in the fund industry. I set up my own fund company in 2010 together with Daniel, and yeah, we were quite successful, and of course also lucky to be the first one on the market. And yeah, we made an exit to a stock listed company, and yeah, started to do own venture investments first in the fintech area. But we thought digital health is a much more interesting, a much more impactful topic that we developed over time, 5-6 years before we then said, hey, let's combine our strengths. So our health expertise plus our fund expertise from the past. And yeah, we're looking for the right team. And that is why it was really for us a great thing that we met Silke. Because it's a great match. So we have now a medical expert with expertise in the business angel side. We have really Isis on board, who has 25 years venture capital experience with Mangrove. He joined us recently. And Daniel, myself, who worked in the fund industry for many, many years. So I think that is a quite good combination, and also makes us stand out to most of the VC setups that mainly come out of existing VCs or investment bankers. So we are convinced that our mix of professional life is really also positive for our startups that we are going to finance.
Yeah, perfect. And you're now raising Fund 1. I mean, for a lot of emerging managers, I mean, fundraising is always difficult because not everyone is able to showcase their previous track record, which is kind of a big part of LP evaluation criteria. Can you tell a little bit more about your previous investments and performance?
One of my angel investments examples, I invested, for example, in Ocomeda, who was acquired by Fielmann. Fielmann is a well-known optical chain in Germany, and what Ocomeda does, they develop digital solutions for better eye care diagnostics, and they make things quicker and easier accessible to the patients and reduce the labor burden on the healthcare professionals. And after I invested there, I had quite quickly a very nice exit as they were acquired by Fielmann. This is just one example. We already do also so-called warehouse investments with the GP of our fund. And we have recently invested in Noah Labs. Noah Labs is a startup aiming to revolutionize healthcare, and it particularly focuses on earlier detection of heart infection. And we have invested there with other well-known VCs like Nina Capital and Adesso. So we are already on the ground for deal sourcing, as we have been, and we have more than 250 deals already acquired in our CFM system, which we look through. So we have a really high deal flow coming in, and we are very picky on selecting where to go in already at that time.
Yeah, maybe also, Silke, we can add Use, which is a telemonitoring software based on AI and voice recognition and face screening. I think it's a great tool because it's all scientific based, and they detect 20 biomarkers, and they're able to give a quite good prediction of 6 diseases. So that means if you do this every month, you have a very high probability that you get the right hint to see your doctor. If something is not working well, you also have you have the possibility to get a telemedical doctor right away. So that is, I think, a quite good example of things that we are interested in, and where we already start making tickets as a GP, and having options then to participate in the next funding rounds.
Yeah,
maybe it's also, Jokke, it's also for us, it's not only about financial return, but for us also, it's very important that we have a positive impact of the society, and therefore one mission is driving all of us in the team. The mission is that we want to improve the lives of 100 million people throughout our portfolio companies across the fund's lifespan. And the example from Silke is showing with Ocumeda, you can really have an impact on a high number of patients with the right digital tool.
That's amazing. Let's maybe then dive into the team and the rest of the team as well. I mean, we already touched upon this subject a little bit, but how does your backgrounds and skill sets complement each other, and who else is in the team?
Well, I pick up this topic. So we believe that our investment team is very well-rounded because we have a unique experience in different perspectives, which are important to be successful as a VC. So we have these experts from the venture capital world, like Willy, but also like Daniel and myself. I mean, we worked with startup firms and venture capital also now for decades. But also from people who used to operate startups, like Christian. He is a trained engineer, and he was the CEO of RetroBrain, a digital health startup for the elderly. And he was a CEO there for 2.5 years. And he went through all the process of reimbursement, for example, which is a very critical value inflection points for startups in the medical sector. We will also have Adrian joining us from Tel Aviv, venture capitalist. So he works there now for 3 years. So we will have him on board in the next couple of weeks. And yeah, most prominently and most important, also Silke, who is in the interview here. I mean, her medical expertise is really awesome. And it's the mixture that she's not just the researcher and medical expert as a Charité professor, but that she's very close to startups for many, many years, and that we have a very good access to the ecosystem through Silke here.
Yeah, perfect. It sounds like a really, really well-rounded team with a pretty vast experience in different fields as well. Maybe we jump into sourcing, and how are you sourcing the most interesting deals on the market, and how does your DD process look like? And also a follow-up question right away: what are some green and red flags for you?
Maybe I pick that up. sourcing is that we calculated that we will approximately 1,200 startups go through every year. And how do we come up with that number? It's not simply based on, VC financial calculations, how much do you need, but it's more based on what is coming in, and more coming in than that. So as I have a broad base in the startup community, starting from very early on, I see what is at Max Planck, at Helmholtz, at Charité, at BIH, and also globally, also in more global Europe, in UK as well as in Belgium and France, going on the startup side, coming out of the universities. I'm since a long time involved in all these accelerator incubators and so on starts. So I have a long-standing expertise there to follow up these early stage developments, which gives the opportunity to really be on the top line of what is coming next. With that, combined with our points that we will make a strong, setup of our own building up the company of our own pictures to the outside world as a health tech VC company, combined with our outreach on, of course, joint close other venture capitalists, also joint connections into conferences, into deal sourcing on our own. We already have now a deal source coming in, which would reach this 1,000 deals per year. So it's really a tremendous deal flow. And I'm by myself. You might wonder, how can we, with our team, manage to go through all these? I have to say, I'm quite extremely trained over the last 25 years to look and decide on quick things, to make a first, adjustment. So we have calculated down the deals who are coming in, how quickly we can look at it, and then we will have different steps in our deal sourcing process to decide on which deals we finally do a closer due diligence and what are the criteria for that. So we have already set up a quite interesting deal sourcing process and also an investment process, as we have already invested as GPs. So I think there we are probably quite outstanding compared to others. And what we can leverage then, and this is important for the startups, in the past, my small business angel tickets didn't make, the tickets what they needed as a package. So I always was the smallest investor. And why does the people always wanted me? That's not simply because of the money coming in, but it's becoming of the network which they provided. And, we can easily connect them to stakeholders in the healthcare industry, and we can provide them open doors, which they might need to build up their business.
Yeah. Maybe concerning the red flags, you asked this question also, Jokke. So for me, working with startups for many years, and I also built up teams since 25 years. So for me, the right people with the right idea are essential. So for me, team really comes first. So this is not a medtech specific topic. I think it's true for all startups, but for me, really, team is first. If we see that a team is not harmonizing together, that is a red flag for sure. But if we then turn more to the specifics of a medtech fund, it's of course startups have to solve this payer, provider, patient triangle. As soon as we see that they might have a brilliant idea coming out of university, having a specific research discipline and thinking about building a company out of this or on this background, that's not enough. You have to know who is paying for it, and who. So that's the magical triangle between payer, provider, and patients. And Silke is very good in this. So she needs, I would say, 5 minutes, most 5 minutes. Then she knows that makes sense to have a deeper look into it, or after 2 or 3 questions, we know that this startup is not fitting our standards.
Yeah. And then once you actually invest in a company, I mean, how are you engaging with them and supporting them? Basically, what's your value add approach?
We closely follow them. We give them really advice. I have to say it's not the ways that we will invest in companies who don't have anything set up yet, except for the company. So just an idea is not sufficient for a VC as an investment, right? We are not doing angel investments. We are clearly focusing on the financial returns. They have to have a certain exit in mind and so on. But we will clearly provide them on that line. We will really open the network. We will ask and bring them forward with my nasty questions. What would be better to do? And this is usually very interesting because companies I started to follow up 2 years ago or a year ago, and then I worked with them but have not invested, to see that then after a year or 2 years, their team really was taking up the advice I gave and now has done all the check-up marks, and then you can invest. So it's not that just with the investment, we start to engage with the companies. We start to engage early on also with companies where we think there could be a really game changer coming into the market. But when they are in our networks, they will get everything from us what they need to succeed.
Yeah. And let me add also one point. We always call it, that's the cherry on the cake with working together with us. I mean, the fund is based here in Luxembourg, and Luxembourg is a very small country, but they're very good in engaging with their European environment. So that means Luxembourg is helping startups also to use Luxembourg as a springboard for internationalization. And that is also when we want to see a startup that it has its potential also to leave its home country. So a startup has to have the potential to go international quite quickly. And I think we really have some advantage here in Luxembourg. There are a lot of brands and there are a lot of infrastructure in Luxembourg where we can also help startups in this respect. So this is also, I think, the cherry on the cake for our investments that we also can help in this regard.
Yeah. Then let's talk about fundraising for a minute. I mean, as we discussed already, it's not an easy environment, right? And how much are you planning to raise, and what type of LPs are you kind of looking for into your fund? And then as a follow-up question here, what are you actually trying to build with Catalpa Ventures? What's the future vision?
We want to raise a fund of 60 million. We will have a hard cap of 80 million, but 60 million is our target. And our first closing should be this year, so in 2024, with 50 million. And where are we looking for funding? It's definitely family offices and high net worth individuals. They, I think, in our discussions that we had so far, quite quickly we came to an alignment that what we want to achieve with our fund, is a very hot topic. You can read it every day that we have a shortage of skilled labor forces. You can read it every day that we have to enlarge the health span, the healthy span of our lives, because we are getting older and older. So the aging society is a challenge, and that the costs of our healthcare systems are exploding. And I think that everyone agrees. And if you consider an investment in the Catalpa Health Fund, you are targeting these problems, which are very actual, but you have also a nice perspective of having a superior return, because health tech is an industry that is developing very fast and is relying on innovative companies. And also, for example, software companies where the wealth of these companies can spring up quite quickly. So these are high net worth individuals and family offices. but we also look for strategic investors that are close to the healthcare industry, like health insurance companies, also pharma, medtech companies, or related corporate investors.
Really good. Silke, you want to add here? What's the plan for the future vision for Catalpa?
Maybe it wasn't clear until now in the discussion, but we are a quite diverse team. And diverse, I don't mean simply on the level of genders, Thomas and myself, or on the level of expertise, but we have an additional diversity depending on the age, right? We have 2 generations as central partners of the Catalpa team. So this brings immediately the point that our vision is to have a long establishment of a long time for many fund rounds running a venture capital firm here. So we of course are immediately looking forward. We want to have the first fund as a success, and then the second, third, and so on. So it's a family VC, you could tell. So we have a long-term vision. So long-term vision, of course, is that we would be the health tech a VC in Europe, or one of that. I think never in no field there's a single person, but let's see, we should be one of the 3 top health tech specific firms in Europe within the next 5 to 6 years. And I think this is very realistic. And we are not looking just on this short-term asset. We are really diverse on different angles. And this will bring us with speed, as we see now in our fundraising. It's really going well. We can't complain, I have to say. And this will bring us forward in the future.
Yeah, that's amazing news. Then one really open-ended question. How are you engaging with the broader ecosystem?
Maybe I take it first, and then Thomas jumps in. I mean, naturally, I'm within the health tech system, but what we do to bring it more to the points, we attend, conferences. Of course, I will attend the AI conferences coming up again in autumn this year. We attend, specific conference. We attend broad conferences. So conferences, attending people, talking to the people in the ground is really one thing. Then being on, certain boards. I'm on many boards. And Christian and others of the teams as well. So therefore, we can really engage with the systems there. And beside of that, of course, we are always learning ourselves. So we would like to be at the forefront of what is coming next. We are also engaging with broader stakeholders. We are engaging, with which are hospitals, hospital chains, not the Charité. I'm talking about private hospital chains. We are engaged, with health insurances. I'm engaged on a broader level. For example, I'm a member of the board of the Deutsche Bank, so something totally different. But of course, there you have engagement with quite a broad diversity of people. So yeah, maybe Thomas, you would like to add something.
Yeah, I mean, especially here in Luxembourg, I explained it before, Luxembourg is heavily building this ecosystem, and we are the first purely dedicated medtech VC. And that gives us, I mean, we are in these accelerators program in the juries. We are a strategic partner of the Luxembourg Institute of Health, for example, or of the HEAL campus here in Luxembourg, and especially Christian is engaging a lot with the universities, and he's mentoring startups. So we take this part very actively.
That's amazing. Any other, final words or, summaries you want the audience to take away from this discussion?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's important for the one or the other investor. So we are strongly motivated by the impact idea. So our fund will be an Article 8 fund. So that is sometimes important for the more institutional type of investors. So maybe that's an important point to add here.
Silke, you have anything to add?
Yeah, if you don't want to look back in 5 years and question yourself, why haven't I invested in Catalpa, then just do it now.
That's a good summary, a good takeaway. Thank you for taking the time to join me today. It's been a pleasure to speak with you and learn more about Catalpa.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity. Talk to you soon.
Talk soon.